Hey.
Hello?
Hello.
Is this Becky?
It is.
Becky Buller?
Yeah, Buller, not Mueller or Bueller.
The one and only.
The one and only. That's the reason we're calling you, is we are starting a new form of communication called podcasting.
Yeah.
We're going to do something called the Acoustic Shoppe Knows People. I want to ask, were you thinking of the Chapmans when you wrote How I Love You? Was that...
Oh, this is going to be one of those kind of podcasts.
All right, so can we count on you to be the guest of honor?
Absolutely. I'm thrilled that y'all would think of me.
Talk to you soon, Becky.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Take me away, 'cause I can be the way. Let somebody while letting go and I can have my way.
Hi, guys.
Hey, we are back for another
Podcast
episode.
number
Who are you
2.
talking to right now?
I'm talking to you.
I knew why we were back here. You said be here for a podcast, and that's why I'm here.
Well,
what it said?
we're doing it live in a microphone now.
My personal assistant told me to be here.
Really?
Siri?
No, I have a Google.
Oh.
My wife got mad at me. I have a, I don't know, not mad, but she was confused why I had a male voice for my map narrator on my Google Maps. So I had to change it to
Wouldn't she be more jealous of a female
I
voice?
said.
You know what my response would have been? I already have one woman yelling at me. I don't need another.
That's absolutely the truth. So, anyway.
No, mine doesn't even know that we're in a car. So. Oh, Sheila, don't listen to the podcast.
Whatever you do. Ouch. All right, there you go. So that was the last episode Jeremy was on.
Oh, she won't listen to this. Anyway, we got Becky Buller is going to be our
Becky
guest
Buller
today,
on the
correct?
podcast. Yes, number 2 podcast featuring Becky Buller.
It doesn't mean that she's second best. It just means she was.
No, she's just the
next
second
one available.
one.
Yeah.
That's very
Thank you for clearing
nice.
that up, Jeremy.
Yeah, of you.
So Becky Buller is
We
a
actually wanted her
songwriter.
first, but Ellen got it. Sorry, Ellen.
Alan's just more available.
You had more
She's
free
a lot more
time.
busy. Yeah. Becky Buller's songwriter, female vocalist, band leader, fiddle player.
She does it all. Plays
Everything.
banjo, plays
Banjo,
guitar,
yes, that's
does
true.
it all. Has written many hits. I forgot.
Number one was How I Love You.
Yeah.
Made her what she is. I hope she brings that up in the podcast, how much money she's made off of that.
I was thinking about this when we were talking about doing this episode, and that was her song that we recorded of hers is the one that had the harshest review of any review we've ever had. It was one of the major companies that sold records told us that this is my favorite quote I think I ever remembered was, I love Becky Buller's music. I love this song, but I don't like the way this one turned out, or something to those. This version was not up to the standards of hers. So,
And unfortunately, you haven't got the lyrics right since the recording. So, but she is a great songwriter and a fun person all around. So I'm really looking forward to
it'll be
chatting
fun.
with her and seeing how she's been doing.
Yep, Becky Buller.
we're back for another episode of the Acoustic Shoppe Knows People.
We
A
know
podcast all about the olfactory variance between people.
The olfactory, really?
Olfactory. Yeah.
Olfactory, huh?
It's spelled with a K-N, guys.
Is that what it is?
Knows people. Anyway,
Knows.
one of the people that we do know, we've known her for a long time. Becky Buller, she's written songs for us. She's
Specifically for us.
Yeah,
us
she just
and
sits
only
around
us.
just writing songs for us.
What
That's
would the
she does.
Chapmans
I do.
record?
No, that's not true. I wish that was true.
Well,
but-
hey, we did write that one song together, and
Becky
I thought
is
of
an-
y'all the other day. I was
you
at
really?
the Bass Pro Pyramid.
So those that don't know, Becky is a extremely prolific songwriter as well as a performer, a great singer, a wonderful talent. And yes, we actually did, we've been hanging out for many years, and we got her together and said, hey, Becky, we need help. We're going to try to pitch a new song, a theme song to Bass Pro Shoppe. She worked on it.
Buy us a bus.
Yeah, and it went absolutely nowhere. But I love that she said that we wrote it together, because it was more of us like sitting in the room going, no, And she'd come up with all the ideas and just write it
I
all
had
down,
one
and we just go,
line in
yeah,
there.
that's good.
I think I said Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah.
You did that part?
We came with the Bass Pro Shops
There you go.
line, but that's
Well, I was
Anyway.
honored. Y'all asked me.
That was
Well,
fun.
I was glad to have you in. But does write a lot of great songs and having a wonderful career right now. She is just killing it out here in the acoustic music world, not just bluegrass. We're no longer just going to pin her down to bluegrass. She is an acoustic music artist. Unless
Oh.
you've changed. Have you become a electric artist recently?
Not
She's a
that I
rock and
know
roller.
of. No.
Okay.
No.
I like that she has to think
Still,
about it.
still hopelessly
Have I
acoustic.
done any?
Hopelessly acoustic.
I have seen her
Yeah.
plug
Good
her
band name.
I have seen her plug her violin in though.
Oh,
Well,
there it
yes,
goes.
that's
That's the
true.
end of
Don't
that.
you go plugging in that
I do.
violin.
Just lost half the festivals.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Big shout
Becky
out
Buller,
to
yeah.
Fishman for that
That's
lovely
right,
yeah.
pickup.
Yes,
right.
we've seen you at the NAMM show performing a few times at the Fishman
Yeah.
booth, which was very cool. So,
Yes.
So,
but-
Becky, what's new and exciting with you these days?
Oh, let's see. I just got back from 10 days. Most of that time was in the UK at the Sorefinger Summer Schools,
that's
which is so
Britain
much
for
fun.
Some of the people that aren't very good geographically.
Great Britain.
The United Kingdom.
The United
United
Kingdom,
Kingdom.
Great Britain. So we were in Chipping Norton in Oxfordshire, which is about an hour and a half northwest of London.
It also
it's-
ties for the longest name of a town ever, right there.
Right.
They have longer ones.
Well, I think Wales, they probably have longer place names there.
Okay.
That I could never even begin to pronounce. But anyway, it's in the beautiful Cotswolds region. Lots and lots of old architecture there. I got to go to church on Palm Sunday in a beautiful Church of England church. I guess you're not supposed to say Anglican unless you're outside of Britain. But beautiful service, and they had a sign painted high up on the wall, and it said, "Thanks to so and so for donating the new roof back in 1770 something." And I heard from the lady sitting in front of me that they were kind of needing a new roof now.
I would think so. It's about time, I would say.
About
They're
time.
at least out of their warranty. Those are like 30-year shingles, right? That's at
Right.
my house. I mean, they got to be starting to curl.
They're looking for another donor.
Anyway, it was my third time teaching at the festival. I had 17 fiddlers. Most of them were from Britain, but I had one gal from Holland, a guy from Germany, an Israeli, and a Costa Rican American.
That's a pretty diverse class right there.
Yes, it was.
Did
so
they
much
all
fun.
speak the same violin?
Everybody spoke fiddle, definitely, and everybody
go.
spoke fiddle English.
Such a
as
bad
well.
joke.
It was a bad
It's a
joke.
bad
I'm
joke.
sorry.
No, but I did go to the former prime minister's cheese shop.
Really?
Yeah,
What is at the former prime minister's cheese shop?
well, very expensive cheese, and
Was it Gouda?
Oh,
Did it smell good, or was it smelly cheese?
there was a variety of different cheeses at different odor levels. So speaking of expensive stinky cheese. So we got back from the UK on Saturday, and that day we had to play in Wisconsin. In Monroe, Wisconsin. It's the heart of Greene County. And Greene County makes the most cheese per capita, I guess, in the whole world.
Really?
And they're the last place in the U.S. that's making Limburger cheese.
And did you buy some of that? Please say no.
What?
Please say no. Please
I
say
didn't
no.
buy any. No, I didn't buy any. But Heather there at the Monroe Arts Center, bless her heart, she brought us some to try. And she said, "Are you sure about this? Do you really want to try this?" And I said, "Well, yes. I've never had Limburger, and here we are in the only place where it's made in the U.S. anymore." And she's like, "Okay." So she brought some in from the local restaurant, and they wrapped it up, like a big chunk of it, wrapped up with a mint, which
With
I
a mint.
thought was really strange. Yeah.
Well, it's
anyway,
to cure
we
the
all-
problem.
We all tried it, and it was terrible. It was so bad. We couldn't get the smell off of our hands. And Aubrey, our sound engineer, she she took it and she disposed of it in one of the bathrooms. And we asked her, which bathroom did you put it in? Did you put it in this one? She's like, no, I thought we might use this one, so I didn't put it there. And I said, did you put it in the upstairs bathroom? She said, no. I think I put it in a staff bathroom. She said, I really thought this through.
Yeah, except you are never going to be invited back there again.
If the janitor has anything to say about it.
Probably not, no.
But you are from up in the upper Midwest, originally from
Yes.
Minnesota, correct?
Yes. I mean,
Do you still have
yeah.
most of your, I was going to say, do you still have most of your accent, or have you really worked hard to get rid of it?
She can bring it back. I've seen it.
You know, I tend to pick up the accent wherever I go because I'm just so fascinated by accents. So I was terrible at
I wish I
camp
was in London with you.
in the UK. I know. And they were very nice about it. And they didn't laugh when I told them my story about being in the studio with the guys, and we had this song called I Dream in Technicolor, and I wanted it to have more of a kind of a rock and roll feel, I would say. Of course, we're still, playing it on bluegrass instruments. And Mojo, Stephen Mojo, my producer, he said, Becky, this isn't rock and roll. You play in a bluegrass band. You're not, this isn't rock and roll. And I said, but in my ad it is. And I told my students that, and they didn't laugh or anything.
That was one of the worst Eliza Doolittles I think I've ever heard right there.
Thank you. But yes, I am from Minnesota, and my parents played bluegrass music. That's what got me into it. And I'm trying to think when I met you guys. It was, I don't remember if it was.
I remember meeting you and your parents a long time ago at the Minnesota, what was that big festival they had up
Mobatma?
there? The Mobatma Festival.
Okay.
But you'd been real young, but we really didn't start hanging out probably for a couple years later.
It was
And
one of Chuck Stearman's festivals. I remember really hanging out with you there, jamming. And I believe Hunter Berry was with you. You were hanging out. Beth was
Okay.
there.
So that would
been a
have
Terry
been
Lease Festival.
Terry Lease Festival, maybe.
that would have been after, either in college or after college. So I was trying
Yeah.
to think if I met you guys while I was still in high school at one of Chuck Stearman's festivals, like Garden City or Mason City, Iowa,
probably.
Garden City, Minnesota, Mason City, Iowa.
I think
Is there
we
one in
did.
Ames, Iowa? I
There
think?
was one.
Okay.
Yeah, there was one.
Yeah. Did you
There was
guys
one
ever?
everywhere.
I know. Did you guys ever play the festival in Livermore, Iowa? That wasn't a Spigma festival.
That one, I do not remember that one.
It was Harvey Morey, and I still have the T-shirt. It's a T-shirt of this big white barn, and it says the Morey Family Bluegrass Festival, the bluegrass show that's held in a barn. And I just think it's hilarious because I was there as a little kid actually, and now I've played in so many different kinds of barns. Bluegrass
So it
music
really wasn't
in
that
many-
special then, is that what you're
Not
saying?
really, yes. Like it was. Anyway, that festival was great until the barn blew away in a tornado.
That
That makes
will,
it more special, I
that
guess.
will definitely ruin that
Our
festival.
favorite barn, we actually played in an active chicken barn.
Chicken
Oh,
coop, yeah.
I might have done that one.
In Georgia,
Yeah,
Yes,
Georgia.
yes,
They
I've done that
They
one.
pushed it from one side to the other. They'd push the chickens out maybe a week ahead of time.
Isn't that
So
disgusting?
it wasn't completely clean. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Where was that again?
I was down in Georgia. I don't
Conway,
I
know
can
that.
see it.
No.
I can see it in my head. I just can't think the name of the
Yeah.
place.
It was not far outside of Atlanta area. That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was outside of there, and yeah.
I remember he'd say, well, we put fresh sawdust down, so you should be all
Why
right.
would you complain?
Oof.
That's an allergy waiting to happen right there, friends.
Or something.
If you have never-
Yeah. Ooh.
And as everybody would kick around all the stuff as you're singing and trying to suck in all that air.
Yeah,
It was-
good thing
it was
there weren't
beautiful.
dancers there. That would have been real bad.
There's certain medications you take that they ask, have you visited these states because you grow some kind of bacteria in your lungs? And I'm sure we have some kind of chicken
Yeah, I'm sure
bacteria
we have
now.
lots of
Yeah,
bacteria.
it's probably true.
Yeah,
careful what you
I
take.
used to say I've played in fried chicken houses and live chicken houses because of that place. I wish I could think of it. Oh
Yeah, me
man,
too.
I've played so many places.
They all
but
blend
I
together.
think I guess we met maybe after college or at IBMA. My first IBMA was in '95. Were you guys there
remember-
that year?
I remember hanging out, not
That was
95.
before us. I think we were there
came there
97 or
98.
98.
98.
Okay. Well then,
We went-
and
it
I'm
was
sure
in
I was there
Louisville.
in '97.
Yeah.
98 because I was in college at that point and had my big pea green Pontiac Bonneville, and we'd load up all us bluegrass girls in there, including Beth's bass.
Yeah.
There were 4 of us in that car with the bass in the inside of the car. The butt end would be in the back window and the scroll was on the dashboard. And we got all of us in there and all our gear and all our other instruments in the trunk. I missed that car so much.
Well, you should go get
You
another
miss traveling that way.
It was cozy.
My more recent memory of Becky though was once big. I can't remember what year it was. A couple years years after we won the contest, Becky was there playing with a band in a contest, and I didn't realize. I mean, we'd hung out with you and jammed a little bit, but I didn't realize how talented you really were up until that point. And I was like, man, I wonder if she wants a job.
And then, I remember that. You were a great player all the way through, but you just all of a sudden really exploded into this just amazing fiddle player, great singer. Because I don't think you were singing all that much when I first met you. You were playing, did a little bit of singing, but then all of a sudden you were playing everything, and it was great. So it was fun. It's been fun to grow up with all these cool musicians and stuff that now are doing great things. And again, it's continued to explode for you right now. You're doing all kinds of stuff. Female Vocalist of the Year, Fiddle Player of the Year. I mean, you're hitting all the big highlights, all the things that none of us have done at all. Chad.
Yeah, I've never even been nominated for Female Vocalist.
So you guys,
Pretty
when I got that award, I was shell shocked, honestly, completely. And actually I'm still kind of coming out of the shell shock from that, and that was in 2016. But I called Jeff. He couldn't be there with me, and my husband, and I said, oh my gosh, you know, what am I gonna do? How this isn't. I now got to live up to this. I'm just like, you never know what you're gonna do or how you're gonna react to something like that. And so I was just shocked and grateful, but shocked. And anyway, somewhere in there he said, hey, Stuart Duncan has never won Fiddler and Female Vocalist of the Year. Because that's my benchmark. It's just Stuart Duncan, you know.
Yeah,
That's a lot of our benchmarks.
Yeah, he'll never be able to win that award. So good for you. You've officially surpassed Stuart Duncan. I'm proud of you.
Something. So did y'all ever offer me a job? I don't remember you offering me a job.
No, I think you had gotten another job
That was
right
the
around
problem.
that same time.
You were actually.
So what was the timeline of that? You were. What time did you moved to Nashville and started working for Valerie Smith at some point in between then and
In
now?
2001, I just after I graduated from college, I was working for Val.
What year was the year that you were in the contest? Was that 99 or 2000? I think we were in
It
98.
was actually, I'm looking at the plaque right now. It's on my wall. It was 2001 February.
Okay, there you go. So I know we had discussions. We were going to go, hey, we should maybe talk to Becky about that. And she'd never play with us. And then we were like,
the biggest thing is we could have offered you a job, but we couldn't have paid you.
Oh, there's that.
She might be making money.
There is that. And then I do believe that would have been right after that is when you did go to work, I think, for Valerie Smith. Is that correct?
Yep.
It seems to my memory that's kind of when you're working with Valerie was when I started to see you make that progression to almost a front woman
Yeah, let's get it
position
straight.
where Valerie had to take off for a while after surgery of some sort. And you and Casey, I think, was in the band at that time, were kind of taking that lead role for a while she was in recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, it got weird, didn't it?
It seemed like, from what I know from you and Casey from the outside, I don't know this for a fact, and you could say whether this is true or not, but it seems like you guys learned a lot of business while working with Valerie. It seemed like there's a lot of pickup because Valerie was definitely all business. She was great at promoting herself. She started the record label. She had a cafe, radio show, and it seemed like from the outside, like I said, I wasn't in there, but you were running a lot of that stuff, and you learned a lot of that, business acumen, which I think has paid off for you, it seems.
Yes, it definitely has. And I'm really grateful to Val and Jay Gregory and everybody there, all the Heinekes and everybody there in Bell Buckle for that. I mean, I came in there really green and I learned a lot of lessons, some very difficult lessons, and, but that's okay.
We all are forced to get some of those at some point.
Right, of course, yeah. So I already had the PR degree going into it. which I feel like I just kind of backed into that. I just needed to get out of school. And I had a friend that was going into PR, and I thought, you know what? I've changed my major 3 times. I'm gonna follow Robin and go with PR. And Robin, gosh, she went on to become a lawyer, and now she's a judge out in East Tennessee. So she's done really well with it.
Wow.
And me, I'm still
the PR
just
degrees.
dithering and dawdling and writing songs and playing
But
bluegrass
she's never been
music.
female vocalist, so
There you go.
Right.
Another one up on- a Judge and Stuart Duncan, you're still up above both of them. So.
The Acoustic Shoppe Knows People is brought to you by, guess what, guys? The Acoustic Shoppe.
The Acoustic Shoppe.
All right, listen to this. Picture this, guys. You are booked to play the reception for a famous politician's daughter's wedding. And pretty soon it dawns on you, I don't know how to play the guitar, and I don't even own a guitar.
That is a pretty
Guys,
big dawning.
don't worry, calm down. We got you covered at the Acoustic Shoppe. All you gotta do, we have a large selection of acoustic guitars from beginner to professional level. We've got all the accessories you're gonna need. We've got instruction to get you started on that song for Twilight that the bride requested, of course.
Of course
And
she did.
You know what I'm talking about, guys. All right, go to theacousticshop.com or visit us in Springfield, Missouri. We'll hook you up, and pretty soon you're gonna be Team Bella all the way.
Yeah, Team Bella, all the way. How long did you do Valerie Smith? Was that?
I was in her band for
5
10 years. I left
10
in
years.
the fall of 2011.
And was that when you started the Becky Buller band, or?
No, I didn't know. I just knew I needed a break, and I didn't know exactly what was coming next. Had a lot of people that were angry with me, or it seemed like they were angry with me. I think they were just...
It was me. It was just me.
Yeah. No, I mean, that were... for many
reasons.
years...
It had nothing to do with that.
For many years, people were telling me, you need to have your own band, or when are you going to have your own band? And in my head, I was thinking, well, I don't have the money to fund something like that. I don't know that I could handle the stress of it. I've always been more comfortable taking a more supportive role. It's actually very hard for me to be out front and to be as outgoing as I appear, as I'm an extreme introvert. So, it's just something I'm still working on cultivating.
So I find that very interesting because if I was to ever, think, I've known you for a lot of the years. We've all been friends. We've all done a lot of stupid things together. And when I say stupid things, we'll get into some of those, I'm sure.
We can't say them in the podcast.
But the fact, I just don't find you to be, I never found you to be an introvert. You were always pretty open with us. So is this something that you have hidden successfully, this idea, or is this, you're sounding like this is something that you've been trying to work through or make yourself to act not like you're an introvert? Because I would have never expected that from you.
Well, I have always had debilitating stage fright my entire life. I've always enjoyed being on stage in a band situation as opposed to a solo situation. So actually, really during COVID, I've been forced to do stuff on my own, and I'm finally getting to where I'm a little more comfortable with it. I don't know. It's just
It seems like I can kind of relate to what you're saying. I mean, from what John's saying, there's certain people that you can be around, that you can be open and fun with, that but people that you don't know, I can see being introverted. I'm really
Jason kind of lives
guilty
that
of
world.
I come across like I hate everyone, but you
He
know
does.
me. I'm a
He
lot of
actually
fun.
does.
It's at least a 40%
I'm
ratio.
a whole lot of fun.
Jason used to be a shoe talker. That was his thing.
Which I think Becky did too. I remember Becky likes to look down when she's uncomfortable sometimes.
Oh my
Tuck
gosh,
to
you
her feet.
guys. I had to watch this footage of me from my high school recital. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And I just wanted to go, honey, look at the audience. Because I was looking down like the whole time. I mean, it was the top of my head most of the time. And I kept saying, and it was so painful. But
Look at you now.
I wish I could go back and tell her, hey, you'll get to play the Opry someday.
Yeah. we were part of a generation of bluegrass players that just got together, and I don't think we all took ourselves all that seriously, at least most of the time. We knew what we wanted to do. We were all making music. We loved doing that, and it was a business. But we also we realized that we were young and stupid at the same time, and didn't need to be uptight all the time.
Yeah.
And there was, like I said, a lot of really goofy stuff. We talked about, we did an interview with you a few years ago where we did the monotone jam. And we'd get
I still love a good Chapman's monotone jam.
For those who aren't aware, the monotone jam is a series of songs that get played one after the other, where you never change pitch of the notes that you're singing. You just sing the same old bluegrass standards and never change chords.
A minor vamp.
Yeah, over an A minor
Well,
vamp.
every so often you would go,
Yeah, you gotta add an
Jump
octave
an
kind of
octave,
thing.
but
Yeah.
still one tone.
I love it. And
that's
you know
just
what?
creativity.
I think we were really blessed because we came up before social media was a big thing.
I
And
might have been more embarrassed
I could
about
never
that.
run for president.
oh my gosh, you guys, the thought of dating in the age of social media, I'm so grateful that I escaped that, and I'm worried for my daughter and what's going to be the thing when she gets to that point.
I think we're all worried for everybody right now. It's more of not just our,
and there
our kids,
are
but-
embarrassing YouTube videos of me out there, but for the most part, we were just being young and stupid before that. Facebook was a thing, and
I'm
we
kind
were
of bummed that we
also.
didn't have our cell phones so we could just film it all, because that would have been some good stuff.
Well, that's true. Anyway,
Posterity.
We had some lay down
I
jams.
feel like we kind of took an opposite approach to that because I think we just kept using it. I mean, we really wanted to show how stupid we were.
yeah.
Look at me.
But also, we weren't on our phones all the time. We were picking. We were jamming.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
writing songs together.
Laying down in the elevators.
Yeah.
Putting couches in elevators.
There's some good idea made.
Enjoying our tribe.
Yes, we had a heck of a tribe. There were some really great players, and I think we that have all of them except for us, Jeremy, have become major superstars, and that's really
Just
good.
decided to take a different road.
Is that what road did we take, by the way?
You guys are
Shop
becoming
owners.
media moguls with this
that what we
podcast
are?
and the TV show, and you got the shop. Y'all have done very well, and I'm very proud of you.
I find it very interesting that we are on video so much because none of us look like we should be on any
We have
kind
faces
of video.
for radio.
Yeah, absolutely, and not even
Unfortunately, there's
voices
no
for
radio.
it, which is really sad.
Okay, guys. All right. Speaking of embarrassing things that I've done, so whatever happened.
right, I'm ready for it.
Whatever happened to that video of me singing, playing clawhammer banjo with the horn rim glasses and
Which one?
at IBMA? No, well, that's true. Which one? I sang that Carpenter's tune.
This must have been a
I
Chap
remember
TV
this.
thing.
Did
It
you-
was a
It's
Chap
somewhere.
TV thing, and I've never seen it anywhere, and that might be for the best.
Oh, man.
I gotta
I'm
find
going to have
that.
to look into the archives and find that footage. I kind of remember this.
Hi, my name is Gladys Happybutt, and I am a big fan of the Chapmans. I just think they're great, especially John, and because of his dimples, and his great singing voice, and I just wanted to sing a song for him. Long ago, and it was so far away, I fell in love with you before the second show. Your guitar, it sounds so sweet and clear, but you're not really here. It's just a radio.
think John was so horrified that he like tried to put it out of his mind.
Oh no,
did that, didn't
no! I revel in the crazier, the more weird it is. That's my favorite stuff in the whole world.
We'll need to find that.
I know I have the footage. I'll just gonna have to find it and send it to you.
So again, for those that don't know, we were really into the kind of social media stuff before it was social media, and we started at chaptv.com, where we were filming just random things all over the road. And then what we do a lot of times at these big conventions like IBMA, we actually set up a booth where we would interview.
A little backstory on that. Like, we decided we're going to do this new thing called Chap TV, and on our website, rather than just show dates and some of that stuff, we're going to have footage from the road of what we did. So we had a guy here in Springfield build us a website, and he's a graphic artist. And we said, make it look like a living room with an old TV.
Like
and
a grandma's
an old couch
living room.
And old wallpaper. And it turned out really cool looking. Like, you click on the TV, and then you
Yeah,
can see the
it
episodes
was
on this
very
old
cool.
TV. So we found that, actually, we used the TV for the website, took a picture of this TV that we got at a pawn shop, got the TV, we had our grandma's couch. We decided we're going to set up a booth. The couch was like a 4-seat wide. We're like, there's no way we're going to be able to fit that in the trailer. So we actually
Plus, it
hacked
had a hide-a-bed, and it was like 400
we took out the
pounds.
hide-a-bed, hacked it in half, and then stuck it back together so it's only 2-seater. And then we're like, what are we going to do for the wallpaper for this booth? And so we found an old printer that, you remember when they used to be
custom
like
wallpaper is very expensive,
Yes.
so we realized we're gonna have to print it ourselves.
You remember the old paper that had like the tabs on the side, but it was like one sheet of paper that you
It's a
like
drum
rip
printer.
off, a drum printer?
Yeah.
We found one of those somewhere and printed off, I don't know how many hundreds of sheets of this into wallpaper
400 or
and glued it to
500
this
feet
wall.
of paper.
And that was our IBMA booth. We set that up. It looked like the website in 3D. And I think we got photos of it somewhere. But then we would have guests come by and film stupid stuff. We got the Noam Kilney interview. And I think that's where the horn rim clawhammer banjo
Yeah.
session happened.
I'm
We had that.
remembering this.
We did the pretzel eating contest. We
The
had
Darren Vincent interview.
the Darren Vincent interview. We had one of my all-time favorites is when we interviewed Greg Cahill.
Hey, did
as the
Darren say
newly formed
anything, or did he
president.
just laugh the whole
He just-
time?
He laughed.
We made 2 tracks. One is just a laugh track where we took all the laughs or all the conversation out of it and it was just laughing. And then we had a conversation that
And
was
one
very
of
entertaining.
one of the 2 videos has about 15 to 20,000 views, and the other has about 400. I'll let you guess which one. It's got to be the laugh track.
It's the laugh track. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of interviews, and a lot of people had a good time hanging out with us. It was absolute idiocy. It meant nothing to the world. In fact, if anything, it only dumbed down the world further.
This is bringing back memories that I forgot about. Like me in our parents' garage, we decided we were going to do almost like what we're doing right now.
It was exactly
we
like
bought
this.
an old desk and we were going to do live broadcasts from the booth, basically doing a Tom Green.
It's much more low tech than it is
Yes.
now, but
Now we have a
We did
budget.
it.
We're able to do a little better, but
Let's say also when we
15
started the
years ago.
store, I don't know if you remember this, but we actually moved that Chap TV set into the corner of this new store. We quickly learned that nobody cared about it and we needed to get rid of it in order to have the square footage.
it was
to
mainly
sell.
because we needed to fill the square footage the first few.
so empty. Anyway, thank you for
But it
bringing
was
us down
good
memory
stuff.
lane there.
We're gonna go look
You're
for some more
welcome.
of the
I
Becky
love
Buller
it.
footage, and
I love
yeah,
it.
I really miss those days where we all just got to get together, and it was all about having fun and playing music and
Yeah.
being together. And again, Becky was a big part of that. A whole team of people. Ashby Frank, there was of course Beth was there.
All
and,
the second edition
we all-
guys.
Yeah,
all
it
the
was
second
weird.
edition. Yeah, we just did a podcast with Alan Bartram, and he was part of that whole crew in the early days too. And it was awesome. So again, thank you for making us the people that we are today. I know everybody who is watching this podcast right now is so proud that that's who we are now.
So are you
And then
guys?
speaking of
Are
weirdos,
you
you
guys?
got Ned Lubareki in the band.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was the elder statesman of our
Yeah, he
stupidity
was.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still fit in, but as an older generation.
Really? Okay. So now I didn't really get to hang out with Ned until he sat in with Val on one of my last shows in 2011, and that's when I really remember getting to hang out with him. So you guys were like, he was in Arkansas, right? So you guys saw him a lot.
Well, see, I
Heard the
didn't know
Rarely
him.
Heard.
Well, actually, when he was in Arkansas and doing his stuff, when I really met him, though, he was playing with the Rarely Heard.
Yeah.
That was when we played with him a lot.
I love
and
the
ended
Heard.
up doing quite a bunch of shows together. And again, somehow, even though Ned's a little bit older than us, he still somehow fit exactly
Well-
into the same level of stupidity.
So with Ned, we love to like post pictures or videos of him doing stupid stuff and then putting hashtag older than Joe Mullins. Because Joe Mullins is like a couple months younger than Ned. But Joe has acted like an old man his entire life.
We
very
had the same.
professional.
We had the same discussion when he was down here. He told us how old he was, and I said, no way, and ends up it was.
I don't think he would have fit in our group very well. He did. He took things a little more serious.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite Ned stories is one year at IBMA, we were hanging out with Jill at the booth when everybody's getting their name badges, and Ned is his name. He got there and his booth said Neb, N-E-B. So we went to him and said, no, it's supposed to be a D.
By the way, let's straighten this out because his last name is Lubareki.
Yeah, they got the Lubareki correct. That's his problem.
Yep.
So originally it was Neb, and he said, no, it's supposed to be a D. So they changed it and it was Deb. Instead of,
And he never fixed it. The whole weekend.
all
he
weekend he
had
was
to-
Deb Lubareki.
Well, one
It's
year
great.
they didn't print his tag at all, and then so I think Casey Campbell printed him up one that was an 8x10. So are you guys playing much these days? At all? Are you able to with family and the store?
more than we have in the last few years.
Yeah.
Well, definitely the store has taken a big part of what we're doing these days. We're, we play all the time. That's what I tell people. Everybody asks if we're playing. Yes, we're playing all the time. Do I play a lot of the same things over and over? Yes. That's pretty much about it. Teaching lessons and also doing all this content in here we're playing. But we just announced new dates. We're going to be playing some shows here in Springfield. We're going to be
Cool.
in Washington State this year. So
Nice.
we may be doing some more shows again.
Good. And so who's
what-
all
We're
playing
very
with you guys?
unpracticed.
It'll be the same four. It'll be my dad and the three of us. So
Okay.
we won't have.
We haven't
our
talked to
fiddle
John about it yet, but it'll be three of us from the original band.
player, which is fine with me. I'm so lazy these days. I'm not sure I want to go out.
How was that for you after having a pretty big hiatus from the road with COVID, getting back out on the road and starting to hit dates? Was it a difficult transition from being home as much as you were?
We've always been a weekend warrior band. I can't be gone a whole lot because I've got Romy and it's just hard for us. Like Jeff works a regular full-time job, even though he plays bluegrass too. And we do have help here, but not enough for me to be gone a lot, which is fine because being her mom is my main gig. And
Sure.
very important to me to be here for. So anyway, to that end, I mean, things have been kind of trickling in. This trip to England that I mentioned at the top of the podcast, that's been the longest that I've been gone since COVID. So that was 10 days total. And so far, it seems like everybody did okay. I was worried about Romy because she had gotten used to being gone. Like I would take a week and I would go do a camp and Grandma and Grandpa would come down and help, and or I would send her to Grandma and Grandpa, and then I'd fly her up there and then I'd fly and do a camp and stuff. So she kind of got in the rhythm of having that time with them, and then suddenly we're just all at home, all together, all the time, and she's a homebody, which is sweet. She likes hanging with us, and I just am cherishing every moment of that. So
Good.
Anyway, so far so good after this first trip. But during COVID, I've always had kind of like a melancholy disposition, I guess it's part of the songwriter thing, or the thing that makes me be a songwriter. And songwriting was my way of dealing with the world and all of that, but and my therapy. But as the COVID stuff, with the shows canceling, I had a new record coming out. I had no band to play it. Professor Dan had already given his notice, And I mean, I had a couple shows that didn't cancel, as it turned out, and I ended up canceling all but one of those, and then trying to go do a duo with Ned for one. But it just really did a number on me mentally, and like to the point that I was in a really, really bad spot for a while. And fortunately, I have a husband who struggles with depression and anxiety, and he was very helpful in getting me help. I had already been going through.
That's good.
I've been doing counseling ever since I started the band in 2015, because I had things that I just needed to deal with and work through, and I wanted to be able to talk out some of the stuff that was happening in the band. I wanted to be a good leader. I'm an overachiever. So anyway, I already had that relationship established with a psychologist, but it just it got more out of hand. But anyway, I'm on the upswing now. I'm in a good spot, and really have a heart for people that are struggling with depression and anxiety. And
Well, definitely, it is a real thing, and I think
Yes.
that's a thing that we all have to recognize. And if anything, I think COVID was able to kind of bring that even more to the forefront,
Yeah.
because people who didn't know that they were struggling with these kind of situations were able to kind of, they were forced to have to deal with it, and and a lot of them were able to. I think a good thing that I think has happened over the last few years is there's a lot more recognition for the need for help and the ability that there is help out there. So again, that is a great thing, and I'm glad, obviously, for you that there was a support team for that, because it was tough on a lot of people, especially musicians. This is what a lot of them have done their entire lives.
It's kind of twofold, where it completely disrupted everyone's lifestyle. You're used to traveling, you lose that entire income, but then there's also that part of every performer where being on stage is part of your DNA, and
Your
it's
well-being.
part of your well-being, where
Right.
that's almost your therapy, is getting on stage in front of people and performing. And
Yeah.
when that's all of a sudden the rug is taken out from under you, you lose the income and the confidence of knowing where the next paycheck's coming from, and then you lose also that ability to see people, meet people, perform in front of them. So it was a multi-form kind of rug being pulled out from under the performing
and
arts
we're,
people.
We're created for community. We
Yeah.
just are. It's,
and
it's part of the human
I
experience.
think it also-
we need it.
It also forced a lot of those people, like, we thought about this ourselves. We had kind of been off the road, but this is what you have built your life upon. This is who you are. This is what you thought. A lot of these players thought they were going to do their entire lives, and all of a sudden it's like, that goes into question. Wait, did I waste every bit
And even
of
those
what I
guys
had
that
done?
have a very
And gals.
solid gig, they have, you feel like, well, I've reached a good position. I have a good
Security.
success. Lots of security, really. And then they realize that, and it's the same thing we went through here as a shop. There really is a moment that it all could go away,
Right.
and you got to be careful. And as a band leader, like you mentioned, I can only imagine being a band leader. We went through the same thing here.
Responsibility, yeah.
You feel a responsibility for your employees, or your band in your case, and you got to kind of weather that and figure out what's best for them and what's best to keep the business running, or the band in your case. So I can only imagine the pressures there that come with being a band leader along with that.
Yeah, and just I kept saying my career's over, my career, and Ned, and fortunately this all happened, like, for the most part, out of the public eye. So
Sure.
I mean, I did drop off Facebook for a while in there, and I did kind of.
That's what we all wish we would do, but
Yeah, yeah. But Ned kept saying, it's hard for everybody. You just hit the wall a little later than some other people, because I'm so stubborn, and I was hanging in there. I was trying to keep all this
Sure.
stuff together and keep it looking good. And fortunately, I look back and I'm like, wow, God, just the things that, like, I didn't know that the world was coming to an end in March of 2020, because I was all eat up with this. I had a film crew coming, and they were going to dress the stage and film our entire set at South Jackson Civic Center in Tullahoma. I think that was March 7th. of 2020. And so I was all eat up with orchestrating that, getting the band together, just making sure everything was right. And Nate Lee was playing mandolin with us at the time, and he said,
Sure.
"You reckon we ought to have some hand sanitizer at the record table?" And I was like, okay, sure. I mean, he had never said that before, but I thought, well, it's cold and flu season. Yeah. I hadn't been watching the news, obviously. And then the next week, I think the world shut down. But
Quick.
I was going to say, we had all that footage, and that sustained me and the band. You know, we were able to put things out. We were able to use that for our IBMA showcase that we couldn't get together to actually
Good.
film in person. They let us use that footage. We had the whole album in the can. The album was supposed to come out in July. We recorded the very last track. It was me and Jerry Douglas, clawhammer banjo voice, and dobro. We filmed that the day before recorded that the day before the world shut down. So the whole album was in the can. It just had to be mixed. So that was fortuitous,
Good.
and we were able to release the record in October. But anyway, so I look back and I see, okay, all this, there were things that were in place that helped me continue on.
Yeah. So coming out of COVID,
Yeah.
it seems like you've come out pretty strong. I mean, new band. We should probably talk about that. Well, for the most part, 2 new members, correct?
Well, 3 if you include our sound gal, because CJ
Okay,
left the group to become an electrician.
And
There's
again,
demand
that
for
was
that right
definitely
now.
something
Yeah.
that happened for a lot of people was they got real jobs.
Right. Yeah.
Electricity never goes away, right?
Yeah, and electricity doesn't go away. You got to take on that job. That's a good one.
But yeah, so then you got the new album out, correct? Everything has been released.
Yeah, the album came out in October of 2020, and it did really well for itself. It was up for IBMA Album of the Year in 2021. It's just absolutely amazing.
Excellent. Good.
And
Touring's
but
picking
yeah,
up. I've seen.
Touring's picking up. I hope I haven't taken too many things. We've got pretty much, yeah, we've got pretty much what we can handle through September. I'm working on a
Good.
Christmas record right now. I'm back in the studio in May to finish that up. I think it's our last tracking session for that. And let's see, what else? We're going to be at the Rocky Grass Festival, and we're teaching at the Academy. The whole band will be there. We've got, of course, Ned Lubareki is still on banjo. Daniel Harden is on the bass, and Wes Lee is now on mandolin. No, you don't have to have the last name Lee to play mandolin in my band. That's just how it worked out. And then Jake Eddy is playing guitar. Oh, and Aubrey Schamel on the on our front of house, and she's actually a fantastic musician and songwriter, singer in her own
good.
right.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys out on the road again. Hopefully, you'll be making it out here.
Yeah, we're coming out there. So May, the first weekend of May.
It will be. It'll at least be 1 monotone jam, if not 2.
Yes, please.
And
So we're gonna film.
please. That's the first time that has ever been said. Yes, please, to the monotone jam, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be
Well,
great.
Becky, it's been awesome to know you.
Yes.
Awesome to
Knows
see
you.
your success.
Cano.
Yeah.
Cano.
To know. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I'm proud of you guys too with everything you're doing.
We're no female vocalist of the year, ladies and gentlemen.
Never will be.
Nor fiddle player of the year.
Either one is not going to happen here. But it is great. You have done so much things in the music business, and like you said, great
Could
songwriter.
have used this whole podcast
singer,
just talking about
player.
your songwriting ability.
Yeah,
and
we
everything.
didn't
talk
hardly
about
any
We haven't
about
even
that.
talked about that, but you are a prolific songwriter. I guess I'm curious. One thing, did that help over COVID? The amount of songs that you have written that have been recorded by really good artists, did that lead to some kind of steady income stream, or did you see an effect on the royalty side of it with COVID?
No,
Well,
that there is a no.
yeah. No, I don't
Did
think so. I mean,
Spotify
I think
keep it
that's
all?
I think that's been about the same. But I went crazy as they were getting things sorted out with my ed, I went a little crazy and I booked all these songwriting appointments, which was so much fun. So every day, like weekday that I wasn't teaching, I would have a songwriting appointment or two. And I booked myself out from September through January with that. And it was a little psycho, but it was really, really fun. And I got to write with some people I've been meaning to write with forever, like Graham from the Steep Canyon Rangers, for instance. And I had
And you were
to,
doing all that virtually, right?
Yeah, virtually via Zoom. And I was saying earlier, we're creative for community, and the internet has definitely helped, but keep us connected during COVID, and that's been wonderful
Sure.
and good. But it just is no replacement for enjoying real people in real time, in real space together. So it's just. Yeah,
I don't know.
no
Actually, most
substitute.
people have actually enjoyed the fact that they don't have to be in the same room with me, actually. So,
Especially when you've been eating Limburger cheese.
It's nice to have a mute button on the John track. No, we really do appreciate you being, when we were kind of throwing around the idea of our profiles and noses. When we're doing the Acoustic Shoppe Knows People, we decided, who do we want to contact first? And you and Alan Bartram were definitely top of the list.
I've got the Buller
And you have
beak.
a nose.
Definitely have the Buller beak.
ladies and gentlemen, I don't recommend you come up to her and talk to her and call it that. I really think.
We'll leave that to Becky.
It'll serve me right if they do.
Well, if the one listener to this podcast comes up to you,
then you at least know where it came from.
Anyway, thanks for doing this, Becky. Thanks for talking to
Thank
us.
you, guys. I think the world of you. I
Look
can't
forward
wait
to seeing you
see
soon.
you here in a couple weeks.
Bye.
And we're out.
Bye.
now we just look at each other while the credits roll.
Yeah.
It sounds so sweet and clear.
Can you sing us the Bass Pro Shop song?
For all your
Now I do
outdoor
remember this.
backpacking, fishing, camping needs, go to Bass Pro. Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro
I do remember.
I remember I came up with the granddaddy of them all line.
I don't know that line.
Oh, it's the very end
Oh
of it.
man, I forgot that part. Sorry.
The granddaddy of them all. Oh, see? Well, I guess it wasn't
Somebody
that momentous.
should have wrote it down.
I got it somewhere. It would have been a hit, but we just never got in touch with anybody at Bass Pro.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
we
take our
wouldn't take our
calls.
calls.
we have a lot of great ideas that just never get off the
Yeah,
floor.
but look at the great ideas
was one
that have come to fruition.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of those?
Guys, that was a lot of fun. Becky, what a blast.
Becky's always fun.
she can always be
Always interesting.
Yeah.
I was saying.
That's the thing, is she can go from like goofy, crazy Becky to a really serious conversation like we did in the podcast, but also in person. It can be like sometimes I don't know, like, is she getting ready to set me up with a story that's going to be really funny, or is she going into a serious conversation?
So you're
with-
saying it's an always evolving Becky? Is that what you're
Stay on
saying?
your toes.
Yeah, she just, whatever mood strikes her, it can go really quick from really crazy to, that's pretty serious right there.
She's a
Well-
complex individual.
Yeah, she is. And I was really glad that we did get to talk about some of the mental health issues that have come out of this crazy run that has taken over the world.
I just haven't
it was
acknowledged
very-
mine. Like I'm just going to wait.
I've acknowledged yours.
turns around-
I really
turns out.
have. So, but
That's something that
but it was serious.
everywhere, not only in the music industry. It was really strong in the music industry, but anywhere in life. We've all struggled with it to different degrees, and
COVID definitely brought it out in a lot of people. I was very impressed with, there's so many smart people out in the world, and right when COVID hit and they started doing the lockdowns and stuff, there was this community of mental health experts that were saying, hey, we know that we're worried about the physical health of people with the virus, but we also got to be prepared for
Yeah.
the aftermath and the mental strain that it's going to put on people, especially kids, just completely uprooting their lives and their social lives. So there was a lot of people prepared for what was going to come out of COVID. So it really
thing,
impressed me
too.
how many smart people there are out there that have kind of trained for this moment their whole lives, and we're almost there to prepare the rest of the world.
Yeah, and
Speaking of mental health, I got twins coming soon.
yeah, you're not going to have very.
There's probably some assistance for that as well to prepare you.
The only good thing about having twins is there's nothing left of my mental capabilities from the first three. Now the next two. So basically,
Good luck.
it's all mush up there.
Have you guys had any kind of birthing classes? Like, I remember we went to our first birthing class. We had this old lady that I swear I got nothing out of that class. Please prepare me for what to expect here. And she was, each class she was trying to figure out what she was going to say, do.
Good
Our
for
first
you.
one was pretty good. We only did it on the first child. I think that's what they normally do. They prepare you.
I just figured there might
and
be
then
a
after
twin
that,
one.
they're like, "Yeah, you got it." But yeah, they scared us pretty bad on the first one about falling and all that.
SIDS and
yeah.
The-
it's scared
I
to
think
death.
the weirder thing that I've recently come to the conclusion, we actually pulled out, we were cleaning out the garage the other day, and we found like all of the kids, my 3 kids' baby books. The first one, lots of photos, lots of things in there. The second one, less things. And I'm not sure we found the third kid's baby book.
Thank God for cell phones, so we can actually keep up some pictures. Of our
Yeah, maybe we're going to
I
have
know
to
why
fill these
Jason
out in
turned out
the
the
end.
way he did.
Yeah, there's no pictures of me.
Actually, it seemed to me the middle child was forgotten. When we were kids, John
here
convinced me I
we
was
go.
adopted.
You were
I just
adopted.
didn't have any photos of me as a kid.
You don't look like any of us. Come on.
I was
You
convinced for
don't
a while.
act like us.
Jerk. Now I almost would take that as a badge of honor.
Well, whatever.
My own gene pool going on here.
Jeremy Dad called me. You really were adopted.
Yes.
And your real father is coming through the door now.
Oh, weird.
Anyway,
Guys, it's fun. I can't
Another
wait for our next
podcast.
guest. I can't wait to find out who our next guest is because we haven't called
me
anybody.
neither. I don't have any clue, but it's going to be a good
We
one.
should have thought about the title of this when we said we know people. We should have thought, how many people do we actually know?
No.
Well,
it's-
that was kind of the plan.
the list
two
is really
podcasts.
getting short.
We'll get to know more people.
Next project. Anyway,
Guys, we'll see you next week.
There you go.
bye.
Make me
The Acoustic Shoppe Knows People. Handmade by Trent Pruitt, Hinkley Hinkleston, and Jason Chapman for The Acoustic Shoppe.
Theme song written and performed by Ofer Koren.
And please remember to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.